Malawai good morning, and how are you, faithful? Captain Nana here, coming to you with your Captain and Coffee Morning Report for February 8th, 2025, Saturday, one day before the game none of us really actually want to watch. One day before the Super Bowl, obviously. How many of you guys are actually watching the game? Because I'm going to watch it, but I'm kind of hoping Bane shows up. We got some news going on with the 49ers. Actually, got some very good news, especially when it comes to the possible succession of what's going to go on with our defensive coordinator. So let's go ahead and get right into that. Let me refresh a few things here. All right. So the 49ers have added former Jaguars coach, Seahawks coach, and I think there's another spot I'm missing off the top of my head, to the roster. Gus Bradley, now who once used to employ Robert Saleh, is now being employed by Robert Saleh. Good to see. I think it's a great coaching hire. Everything you want with a coach. If Pete Carroll is the quote unquote godfather of the defense that we run, then he's the grandma, I guess is one way of putting it. Yeah, he's definitely, he's right up there with how to run this defense. One of the better coaches. It's gotten him his own coaching gigs and all that kind of stuff. Why is this not streaming anywhere? It says that it's not. Huh. Well, if we have a recording of this, then we'll at least put it up. Anyways, sorry, it says that it's not recording anywhere on this, and I'm not live anywhere, so we'll see what happens with that. But anyways, Gus Bradley, an excellent addition to this coaching staff, gives us another win to put into the pipeline as far as what's going to happen with our coaching succession. Because before then, it had been automatically, well, I shouldn't say automatically, it had been assumed Saleh would be here for a year or two, and then maybe would go to someone like a KJ Wright, who you, especially if Saleh leaves next year, who knows if KJ Wright would technically really be ready for that job? Well, now we have someone else in the pipeline to where probably give KJ Wright a little bit more time learning coaching and all that kind of stuff, so that it would go Saleh, Gus Bradley, and then you would think maybe KJ Wright. That's the thinking of a lot of people. But anyways, just think of him as adding. Basically, he has not yet been given a title. More than likely, I would assume that he's going to take over the role that Brandon Staley had on our team, to where you have a role, but let's be honest. At this point, you're talking, you're not going to make him necessarily like the DB's coach or anything. It's a man who's had success, maybe not necessarily at a head coaching level, but he's had success when he's been a D coordinator and all that stuff kind of stuff. So he's gonna, he's going to basically be an offensive or a defensive assistant coach at some point. So, you're not going to just name him DB's coach or something like that. But he will probably have his hands in a whole lot of stuff. Again, freeing up more stuff that Kyle does not have to worry about. At this point, Kyle has nothing to worry about defensively on this point. He should have almost, almost no say in any of it. So, which last year he obviously had to take a lot of time out of stuff where he had to pay attention to the defensive stuff because obviously Sorensen was terrible. So yes, it frees him up more to be better with all his stuff offensively. He gets to focus on just that, which again is definitely a win. So again, the 49ers have added Gus Bradley to the coaching staff, another amazing point. And to people who say that Jed isn't willing to spend money on this team to win, adding all these coaches costs money. So you can't say Gus Bradley's not coming cheap. You know what I mean? Saleh is not coming cheap. Saleh is going to be the highest paid defensive coordinator or coordinator, depending on what Chip Kelly's contract is. So he's spending good money on these coaches. D'Angelo Hall could possibly still be coming over. Just think of that coaching staff. You're going to have Robert Saleh at the head of it, probably right underneath him. His lieutenant's probably going to be Gus Bradley. And then he's going to have two younger coaches in a D'Angelo Hall and KJ Wright, who are going to be up and coming coaches. That to me is an amazing squad. And that's just the focal points of the defensive coaching. So we got some good coaches coming down the line for this team. All right, another thing. So this from Kendall Venezuela is what seems to be the 2025 draft hats, and to be honest, I'm not a fan. Well, let me say this. I don't like them. It's kind of a plain thing, which isn't a terrible thing. They're just kind of plain. I guess everyone comes with that little medallion thing or whatever. That's right. looks like a bridge. I'm assuming that's supposed to be the Golden Gate Bridge. It's really hard to tell, but she showed off all 32 hats at some kind of a convention thing that she was at. So all that. It hasn't been announced that these are the draft hats, but these look like something that these could be draft hats. Now, I will say this: I would actually like these hats if you can see in there. There's almost like these feather type things, feather wings type things that go around the brim. If they had changed those to, instead of being the same color as the brim, to the secondary color of each team, I think these hats would look really good. Like if for instance, for those feathers, let's just call them feathers for now, were gold, I think this would be really good looking. For instance, the Seahawks one. The Seahawks ones, they have their normal blue bill, and then the feathers are blue. But what if they had made them the neon green? For, let's see, Kansas City, it's going to be a red brim, but then have their feathers yellow. I think that would have been so much better. Added, giving this hat a little bit more flair. As a draft, I want my draft hats to pop out. I want them to be different, and doing something like that, I think, would have greatly enhanced this hat. But otherwise, and then there's, again, like I said, the little emblem on there. Not much, you know what I mean? So we'll see how that goes with all of that. Let's see. Should we pop over there real quick? All right. So, all right. And then for a lot of people, I know that the Myles Garrett trade is a little bit too much for you. I completely understand it. It's going to take a lot to get it. But remember, you want to spend, you want to be good and spend. To be good, you got to spend. To make money, you got to spend money. To be good, you got to give up capital to get capital. So I understand the people who think that getting even someone as good as Myles Garrett is just too much draft capital for you to handle. And I completely understand. Excuse me. But there are other short-term options out there. Someone like a Khalil Davis, who, by the way, who we tried to go get years ago, if you don't remember, when he played for the Raiders before he got traded to the Bears, and we offered the Raiders more for him. Well, he's available again now as a free agent. He is 34, so this would be a 1 to 2 year tops type of a deal. But he's still pretty productive. Obviously, he's not going. These guys are not going to be the caliber that Myles Garrett comes with. But these guys are going to get good production. So, like I said, you got Khalil Davis. Again, 1 or 2 years tops. Someone like Hendrickson from the Bengals. Now he would have to be traded for. But again, you're talking about somebody we could probably get with a couple later round draft picks, so we can still keep our high round draft picks and get him also a very productive guy. So again, for those of you who don't want Myles Davis simply because it's going to cost a lot of money, here is an option for you to do, to think about. There's also some other people out. There's tons of other people out there that we could possibly bring in for a year or two. But these are the first two names that I saw that I thought would fit our system pretty well. Apparently, I didn't drink enough coffee this morning. All right, and the last one for today, as always, we are now an affiliate of the Goat Fuel, which is backed and endorsed, I think just backed by the Goat himself, Jerry Rice, aka Goat Fuel. Make sure if you use the link that I'm going to put into the description, use that link. You get 10% off. I get some money. Everybody's happy, and you get some of Jerry's Goat Fuel. With this one right now, I do believe that the gold can with Jerry on there is a limited edition one. That is still available out there. So again, if you're going to be buying some Goat Fuel, go ahead and use that link, ladies and gentlemen. Get yourselves a little bit of money off and put some money in my hand. All right, that is all that we've got coming for you for Niner Faithful Radio today. More than likely, we'll not be doing anything tomorrow, so we'll be taking Sunday off. But we will be back again Monday morning to talk about hopefully Bane showing up to the Super Bowl. As far as who I'm honestly rooting for, it pains me to say this. It truly does. But I want the Eagles to win simply because I don't want the Chiefs to be the first team to three-peat. I don't want that I don't want that feather in their hat type of thing. It just pains me to say. And like I said, it hurts me to say go Eagles on that whole situation. But again, anybody but the Chiefs at this point, just don't let them three-peat as far as, you know what I mean? So honestly, make it a good game. I think it's going to be a lower scoring game than people expect. These are two really dominant defenses. And so we'll see what happens. All right, faithful, until Monday morning.